toothbrush that's been terrorizing
Listen.
people. And so,
Listen, Linda.
Have you been ran out of your
honey,
home?
listen.
Have you been ran out of your home because of an electric toothbrush or something?
I really did think I was praying over my family. I was praying that we would not have a bomb go off in our home. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
No.
I don't even know.
Do you want me to tell you guys what happened?
I'm afraid to hear this. I'm afraid.
So it was a Monday morning a week ago, and I sleep really hard on Sunday nights because Sunday's a really, really big day for ministry, for worship leading and stuff. And so like I was out and I was awoken from a dead sleep by a terrible noise. And it sounded...
Sounds like a Christmas story.
That's what I was thinking.
And what was a clatter?
Listen, it sounded like someone was sawing through my wall and there was water, like a waterfall. And I called Justin, I put it on speakerphone and I said, babe, this is not good. Like something really, really bad has happened. He's like, I'm just now pulling into the plant. And I'm like, it's really bad. And he goes, okay, I'm pulling away from the plant. and he came home and for 25 minutes, that's how long it takes him. I prayed and I called him again. I said, do I need to take the kids for safety? I got the dogs out of our room because I thought that my room was going to blow up and we were all going to die. I was really, really scared. And he came home and
and what was it, Lindsay? What was it?
He opens the shower door and he said, babe, looks like my toothbrush fell off the ledge and somehow got turned on. Turned the toothbrush off. And we were saved, my hero.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm a little bit shocked. So, can I speak on behalf of the audience?
Please.
Here's what everybody, y'all feel free to chime in and tell everybody that you're agreeing with me here.
Yes.
So I learned a lot about you already. So here's the question.
Okay.
You know, there are on this planet, when something happens, there are a million possibilities.
Yes.
You went straight to the house is going to blow up.
I went straight to the Lord in prayer.
Well, that
for
was
my
after,
house.
After your house is going to blow up. I mean, why couldn't it have been that there is a mole who has bore into your house?
Listen, when I was like in
How about, when I was in middle
school, our water
It was
heater
an Al-Qaeda
exploded.
mole. It was
okay?
gonna blow up. Okay.
Our water heater exploded when I was in middle school.
Well,
in the bathroom right next to my...
Not only do I get a lot out of your sense of humor and just the way, just how kind and open you are, but also just the way you get into things is, for someone like me, it's great to be around because it's shown me a brand new way to be able to live. So I can't possibly say enough good things about you except that I love you.
Terry, you have made a huge impact in my life. I'm so grateful that God has brought you into my life. As much as you have poured out, I still feel like you are this pool of wisdom that we've yet only had sips of.
The big overarching takeaway for me that I appreciate is you're the real deal, right? You're the genuine article, and you live what you talk about. You don't just say you can do this, you can do that. You actually run and operate and live in that lifestyle business, not just talk about it as a theory.
I'll speak for me for a moment. In my life, oftentimes, I go in and I push that button, and I push it gingerly in the hopes that I can get one of the rings to go up and hit the hook. And whenever it's your turn to talk, you kind of say, Case, move over for a second and take that button and jam it and hit it 19 times to get every ring flying in the air. And that's kind of the feeling that I have whenever you talk. It's like, wait a minute, let's shake this up a little bit. Let's shake the snow globe and see what happens. Like right now, Terry, I am so inspired after listening to you for the last 25, 30 minutes to go back and do about 400 things, of which I might have done one prior to you talking, but you got me so jazzed up to go in there and accomplish something because, often we need people like that, with agitators, somebody to come in and agitate things and say, hey, look, you can do a lot more than you're doing. Look at me. And Terry, I've always liked looking at you, and I'm hopeful that I can be more like you going forward, so thank you for everything.
I'm still blown away by your story. It's incredible. And so it's just so inspiring. And so, I mean, I feel like you embody that. Like when I think about you, it's hard to separate you from that incredible story that you have. And so it's such a gift to us to get to just be in the presence of someone who has that story and who has come as far as you have. And with that, the second word was experience, because with that, you just bring so much experience. There's so much value in what you say. Amazing coach. So like just vast experience. I feel like you're able to speak into so many of our lives in so many different situations. And it's always like on point and helpful and thoughtful. And then the third was humble, because I feel like you do all of that with so much humility. Like I feel like you don't pat yourself on the back a lot, or, say, oh, I'm this great person. It's kind of hidden behind this, oh, I've just got a little comment here for you, filled with all of this value.
When I think of Terry Wilson, I think about the comeback kid. Your original story of how you built the piano business and how the market of 2007, 2008, that crash, and how you came back and you built something that is what it is today. And yet here you are.
Hey, Terry. Well, I think today has just demoed exactly the brilliance that you share. The humor, it's guaranteed that every time that Terry's got the mic, there's going to be laughter amongst the group. And I'll extend that into honoring your skills as an interviewer and as a podcast, because I had jumped on a few months ago because I hadn't listened to your podcast, and content can draw us in, but the people who lead the conversation and the skill behind that, I was pleasantly surprised and impressed, and I've kept you in my circle because of that. So I think the lens in which you see the world is so amazingly beautiful. I love that you're real. You talk sports, you talk music, you talk the things that come to our heartbeat of being a part of this country. And it draws people in, and I'm one of those individuals. And I also think you're genuinely gentle, sincere, and you're like, a cousin or an uncle that, I just want to hang out with more and more each time. So, you light us up, and that's not something easy to do week in and week out, in just the waves of our own lengths and the commitments that we have in our circles. So I am grateful for all that you bring to us and all that you've shared with us, and definitely the laughter as well. So
what's up, Fire Nation? Another bonus episode coming your way. This one was a great chat. I had a lot of fun with Terry Wilson. Terry is a serial entrepreneur who offers entrepreneurs and solopreneurs the tools, training, and technology needed to earn and enjoy more. For the past 13 years, he's helped thousands of hungry individuals discover their thing, develop the skills to do it, and be given a strategy to deliver it to market and produce value. Terry has a weekly podcast that can be heard on iTunes, Stitcher, and at terrywilson3.com. He also wrote a book called You Are Worth More, which you can check out at youareworthmorebook.com. We have a lot of fun in this episode, Fire Nation. I truly hope you enjoy. It's hard. It is hard work to achieve uncommon success. But you know what else is hard, Terry? Being broke.
You better believe that.
Living paycheck to paycheck, not being able to support your loved ones, not being able to support yourself, not being able to get up in the morning and do something that you want to do, but doing something you have to do. That's hard too. So Terry, my call to action for everybody here is choose your hard. Like back in 2012, it was hard. I spent 32 years of my life doing hard work and making the wrong decision on choosing my hard. I was going down the wrong path. I wasn't having any success. But then I flipped it and I said, you know what? Building this business, Entrepreneurs on Fire, it's going to be hard work. But the alternative is hard too. So I choose the hard of building a life of freedom, of building a life of choice, of building a life of uncommon success. And that's my call to action to everybody hearing our voices today. Choose your hard.
Choose your hard. Boy, I love that. Because there's a high cost of low living. And sometimes we think that, we're just going to get out of this easy by taking the path of least resistance. And boy, sometimes the end of that path is just a tiger. I'm telling you, brother,
Identify your big idea. Not be a weak, pale imitation of somebody else's big idea, which most people do. They're like, oh, look at what Terry's doing. He's so successful. Look what John's doing. I'll just copy them. And then you wonder why you fail, because you're a weak, pale imitation of those people and you will never win as a result. You need to come up with your big idea, your zone of fire, and wake up every day on fire, living that life. That is the life that you deserve. Because what at the end of the day do we really want? Freedom. the ability to wake up and do what we want, where we want to do it, with whom we want to do it with. If you have those three things, what more is there in life? And you can give yourself that gift. Just take it.
Which is identifying, why are you here? You know, I like to say it this way. You're not a cosmic accident. You didn't show up on planet Earth because lightning struck a mud puddle billions of years later and you crawled out. You're a significant person with a significant reason for being here. There's a reason for you to be here. And once you identify that big idea, as John just said it, life becomes, oh my gosh, becomes unimaginable. Give us another. Go ahead.
Just on that point real quick. I mean, I think it's so key for people to understand this, like what Terry is just sharing. There is so much wisdom out there in this world, but there's also so much noise and it's chaotic. And sometimes it's so hard to really cut through all of this and to really get to the meat and potatoes, to really get down to what matters.
Does anyone know Terry's story, what Terry did?
I do.
So Terry sold musical instruments, sold pianos, right? And what was it? Was it 9/11 that created the problem?
Yeah.
9/11 creates a problem. Nobody wants to go. There's no money in town anymore. It's a brick and mortar store. Some woman comes up to him in church, some older woman, and she's like, I was thinking about your problem, and the Lord told me you should sell them on the computer. Sell your pianos on the computer. And Terry's like, that's a great idea. I got to get out of here because you're crazy. So, of course, he does it in that sweet way where he says, oh, bless your heart. And
Bless your
he
heart.
thinks about it. And then he's like, you know, he told me about the story about, you know, the guy, it's a flood and, you know, you should get out. No, the Lord's going to save me. And at the end, he goes to God and says, why didn't you save me? He's like, I did. You know, I tried. I sent you the news report. I sent you a helicopter. You know. So Terry takes that and he's like, God's telling me what to do here, right? So I should do. That was the message. I should sell these things online. His first thought when the woman tells him that is, how am I gonna, because she said her grandson sold CDs.
On eBay.
Yeah, Terry's like, how am I, you could just put them, I can't put a stamp on a piano. This is crazy.
Drop it in the mailbox.
Yeah, so next day, right? The next day he starts selling, sells them out in a week. So he doesn't think about, he doesn't latch on to his idea of I can't ship these things cheaply, right? He just goes past that. He goes, well, what's my first solution? My first solution is I got to sell these things. That's all he's thinking about. He sells out his whole inventory in a week. Then the problem comes to him. How do I get rid of these things? I've now sold them. How do I deliver them? So what would you guys have done?
Hire a U-Haul and drive them out there.
Yeah, that's what Terry did. Terry got a truck and just was like, well, I'm gonna take my brother-in-law. We're gonna go around the country. We're going everywhere. And he delivered pianos for 2 weeks. That's amazing. And then, you know, and then he's like, oh, and the next thing is I talk to someone and he goes and he talks to the manufacturer and he's like, so, you know, where are these things? You know, if I want to get them, how do I sell them? And he doesn't go into the conversation with the idea of, I'm going to figure out how to make this more efficient for myself. Or maybe he does to a degree, but he doesn't make that his outward appearance. He's not desperate. He's desperate, but he doesn't portray desperation. He portrays, as he's talking to the person, he's asking them questions about their business, and they give him the keys to the kingdom. They tell him the whole layout. They tell him exactly how to run his business. Now, in Watergate, did you ever hear, like in the first week after Watergate, Woodward and Bernstein spoke to a Spanish guy down in Mexico, and the joke was, he told us exactly what happened, but we don't speak Spanish, so we lost the story. It turns out that was true. They got the whole thing in the first week, but didn't understand it. Terry got the whole thing in the first week and put it together. He hears, you have warehouses all over the country, so why don't I sell them and then you guys will just deliver them locally? He gets that in an instant. He doesn't think about the problem. He doesn't think they're not gonna do it, any of this stuff. When I hear about Terry selling them and he just gets in a truck, my first thought with that is, I know.
Welcome to TerryWilson3.com.
Over one decade of helping others
Discover, develop, and monetize your skills and talents at TerryWilson3.com.
This is the Terry Wilson. Really? I'm excited, Terry. All right, I want to get started.
You're the real deal, right? You're the genuine article.
Right now, Terry, I am so inspired after listening to you for the last 25, 30 minutes to go back and do about 400 things. You got me so jazzed up.
I'm still blown away by your story.
When I think of Terry Wilson, I think about the comeback kid.
You're like a cousin or an uncle that I just want to hang out with.
Terry, you have made a huge impact in my life.
Can't possibly say enough good things about you except it's that I love you.
Here's your host, Terry Wilson.
All right. We are live, and we are in the studio with a bunch of all-stars today. It's awesome. This is episode 470, and tonight we are privileged to have the one, the only, the legend, Miss Spelling Bee. That is Laurie Brown from Look Up with Laurie Brown Radio Show, heard every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on tw3radio.com. She is with us. Tonight she will be training on what to say when you talk to yourself. I didn't even know you're supposed to talk to yourself. Who knew? You know, sometimes you and I can be our own toughest critics. When this happens, it creates several challenges that can often keep us from realizing our highest goals and ambitions. As Ray Edwards said in our conversation a few episodes back, things in my business and life started changing when I stopped listening to myself and started talking to myself.
Right after Laurie offers her training in segment 2 in just a few moments, Terry will be training on 12 closing statements you can use right now to start closing more. This will be a sales training he is offering in segment 3 right after Laurie's.
So we have 2 trainings back to back tonight to help you take your business to a whole new level. Please take time to like, share, and subscribe too. This helps us out, and we appreciate all of the new subscribers, emails, and positive vibes you guys continue to send.
Yeah, and even the ones that send negative stuff. We appreciate you
appreciate
too. Yeah. Any mail is good mail, right? Yeah.
I think we've had, in all of our negative feedback, which isn't really a lot, but... You know, every business has it.
And by the way, I agree with some of our negative feedback.
I was just about to say, it's like, I've seen maybe, there's been like 1 to 2 like honest feedbacks on stuff that we could fix and stuff.
Yeah, I could pronounce things better.
Well, yeah.
I could spell things better.
That one was left by me. It's time to come out.
I thought that was Laurie.
I think we're your toughest critics.
You probably are. And I think that's what Laurie's getting into tonight is sometimes we can talk ourselves down, can't we, Laurie? Mm-hmm.
You sure can. It's not good.
It ain't good. Not good. But hey, before we get into this, big deal. Wake up your neighbors, call your friends, family, and foes. Wake the cat. Get everybody up. Get them around the computer screen right now. I got a big announcement. For anybody and everybody, we've had so many new people come on in the last couple of weeks and great jobs. But I thought, what can we do to help new members? What can we do to help new members? Because, you know, everybody that starts at TW3 wants to do the same thing, and that's what? Take off. They want their business to take off. Whatever business they're in, they want, hey, I want it, and I want it now. It's like that commercial. It's my money, and I want it now. So what can we do? So I was like, I thinking, what can we do? So here's what I want to do. And you don't have to be a new member. Any member at TW3, you sell any package. It doesn't matter from the bottom to the top. Any package. Between now and I'm going to give it all the way out to Wednesday because we can't do this forever because it costs money, okay? But from now till Wednesday, you sell a TW3 package. We're going to set the blog up for you. We're going to set the funnel up for you. We're going to set the CRM up for you. We're going to do everything but the AWS, caveat emptor. We can't do the AWS. You've got to get your own AWS account set up. But to get that set up, but we're going to set your CRM up. We're going to set your funnel up. We're going to set your blog up. And... the first one, it takes advantage of this deal, and we're going to do all that, plus give you conference tickets on top of all that. So,
pretty good deal.
If you are out there and you're a TW3 member, and you've got sort of people that's sort of on the fence, I don't know, or you just started, you better call them, shake them, wake them, do whatever you got to do. But that is the big deal. It's going to go from now until Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the cutoff. So get in and get those new clients in, and that's to help our newer clients that say, hey, what can we do to shake some sales loose and get it going? So we wanted to offer that. And Laurie, they need to be at the conference, don't they?
You cannot miss the conference.
Because Laurie's going to be there.
Which segues perfectly into this. The You Are Worth More Now conference is now on sale.
Yeah.
September 7th through the 9th. So I think those are pretty essential to get.
You better get them. You better get them.
Yeah, we're going to be taking your questions here as well. That's coming up after segment 4. Sorry, I have to look at my phone. I don't know which segment we put them in. But yeah, if you've got questions, go ahead and send them in. What we typically do is we answer our email questions. If you go to terrywilson3.com/contact, you can send your questions in. We answer them on the podcast. But if you have questions tonight, you can send those in as well. And we have a lot of members that are, awesome, and they kind of help us out, and they'll answer those questions in the live comments as well.
That's right. So get your questions in, and we're going to be answering them next week and live in the chat tonight as well. And I did do some live streams this past week. We had a lot of great questions, and some of them are so good I didn't want to wait till tonight to be able to answer them. So I did a few live streams on those. How dare me? How dare me? But guys, get at the conference. You're going to meet Laurie. You're going to meet Chris. You're going to meet Valerie. You're going to meet Gary. You're going to meet all of these guys, and you'll have to put up with me. Yes, I have to be there because someone has to sweep.
My name's on the conference.
Someone's got to sweep the floors, but still, you're going to meet some great, great people, and just knocking it out of the ballpark in so many ways in their personal lives and their professional businesses. And that's what, to me, that's what success is all about. It's not just the money. It's the fulfillment of life, peace, joy, love, and happiness. And I cannot stress how great of people that are in this family. And we do say family, and we say it on purpose. And so it's a good time, and we can't wait to get to face meet again, because 2020, we were looking forward to that, and unfortunately, COVID just knocked that out. But anyway, Laurie, what was the big plans yesterday with Mr. Wonderful? Did you guys at least get to go out for Father's Day and do dinner or anything?
Well, in between me learning Keynote, we went and got something to eat. And unfortunately, none of the kids were here. My one daughter was at work, and then the other 3 kids are all out of state, but they all called. They all sent gifts. And
well, tell Mr. Wonderful I apologize for monopolizing your time this weekend with Keynote. I'll take the hit on that.
Okay.
He might come to the conference just so he can punch me. Where's Wilson at?
You don't want to be on the wrong. He's 6'4" and 300 pounds.
Yeah. If he gets upset, give me a warning so I can make it right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you had to endure Keynote. I had to endure a PowerPoint for Father's Day. One of my children.
Did you just say endure? Are you kidding me?
Well, guilty dog barks.
It's a joke.
Guess what I got for Father's Day?
A PowerPoint?
A PowerPoint presentation, and I will tell you, it was an awesome one.
I bet.
My oldest had a, what was it?
Yeah, so I'm finishing up my associate's degree, and I'm taking a speech class, and I was supposed to give an informative speech, like presentation with a PowerPoint. And so I did it on the discussion of MJ versus LeBron.
Of course.
I didn't give...
For Father's Day.
I think I did a pretty good job of staying, impartial. I just said, this is what the conversation's about. This is why both sides think they're right.
It's like just wagging red meat in front of a lion on Father's Day. Hey, don't get upset. This is just informational.
Yeah, I'm going to get a D, though, because there was too much crowd interference. Anytime LeBron would come up.
Reagan, I can't stand LeBron, right?
I'm aware.
Most people
have I told you I can't stand LeBron?
Yeah, a couple times. 1 or 2 times.
And that's why I love you, Miss Spelling Bee. You are one of my favorites, I'm telling you. Yeah, he did a great job, though, as far as his presentation. The subject matter was a little weak, but the presentation, you made up for it. And that's what you have to do. Sometimes you have weak content. And you have to.
Content was great.
You have to really amp up the presentation.
I took it as a time to do some stand up. Thought it was pretty good.
Oh, the subject matter was a joke. I mean, it really was.
Now the real gift was I think like $50 Amazon gift card or something like that. But it was like a 2-for-1. It's like, hey, I gotta get into college education, so here's this as well.
No, I loved it. We had a great day. You guys made me feel so special. And as that wasn't enough, on my Father's Day, I got the green light from Mrs. to go ahead and order my big toy. And we paid all that and got everything.
You want to talk about it?
I'd argue I'm more excited for your new toy than you are.
I think my boys are more excited.
This is something I've been me and him both have been pestering him on for years. You got to get this.
I think I remember in 2015, I had a conversation. I said, so, when are you getting a Tesla?
Yeah, well, I wanted to wait.
And it's time. Dreams do come true for me. And I didn't have to do any work.
So the Tesla is coming, and it'll be here at the end of July, according to...
losing sleep over it.
You look tired right now.
I cannot wait.
Does that make me an official online marketer now that I've got a Tesla? Can I stand out there in front of it now and
You're
say...
a social influencer now.
You need to do that. Here in my garage, just bought this...
I think that's foolish. No, I when we went up to the Northeast and did our anniversary trip, of course, we stopped by Debbie and Ben's, and Ben took me out in his Tesla and all that. And boy, I said, "Ooh, I gotta have one of these. This is just
Can't do that. Can't get in one and then not expect to.
Oh, it's just fun.
That's why I think whenever it comes in, I can't even get in. I can't get in it, can't drive it, because realistically, I mean, I can't afford one anyway. But on top of that, it's like I can't even afford like a car that's 2 tiers worse than this. So I'm just out of luck.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna drive out to San Antonio and take Mr. Wonderful and Miss Spelling Bee out in my new Tesla. That's what I'm gonna do.
You should.
We're just gonna ride it. I'm gonna put it on autopilot, Laurie, and have it just go directly to you.
But it'll take about 3 weeks to get there.
Hey, I've made that drive. It didn't take me but about 3 days. Of course, I was in an RV.
Don't you have to stop every 300 miles?
Well, you have to do that in a regular car anyway.
Which this
don't
is
you? I mean, how many miles do you get before you have to fill up?
700. Now, what's the charging time on it from like
a hot charge? I think it's 15 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, I mean, you can. By the time I go in and get a drink and a potty break and shoot the bull.
Which you can leave the car on while it's charging too, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And they have like a game thing on there where you can play with the wheel.
Yeah,
like
watch TV.
Game. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They got Netflix
I'll watch
on there.
I'll listen to one of Miss Spelling Bee's radio programs while I'm feeling
I
nice.
just want to see how fast it takes off. Work on that thing.
I was trying to convince him to get that.
You're not gonna let River drive it, because wasn't he the one that got a speeding ticket for going like 50
that was in my younger days. That was
that was back when he was
that was back in the day.
That was back 6 months ago.
I was in my adolescence. My brain wasn't fully developed.
Do you know how much I've grown in these 32 days?
Do you know how many tickets I've gotten since then? None.
Oh,
because I felt it. You got to feel the pain first before you can change things. So.
You have grown up a lot in 6 months. I've got to admit, I've never seen a child mature so quickly in 6 months. That is the truth. That is the truth. Well, guys, when we get back right after this, Miss Spelling Bee is going to be bringing the heat, because what you say to yourself actually will come out of you. And how are you supposed to be positive around your clients and your friends and your family and all this if all your self-talk is just downing yourself all the time? So I can't wait, Miss Spelling Bee, for this segment coming up when we get back right after this.
Earners are learners and leaders are readers.
If you want to go to the next level,
You do have to grow to the next level, and that's why I offer free audiobooks at TerryWilson3.com/free book. That's TerryWilson3.com/free book. When you go over there, you're going to get to try the service out for 30 days free. No obligation, and you get a free audiobook just for checking it out at TerryWilson3.com/free book.
Say goodbye to 2020 and hello to 2021. It's time to target our goals for this year, like the goal to be successful. We can do this by exploring new things, following influential people, and giving back to get more. Maybe our goal is to get to know ourselves better by reading more, or listening to things which inspire us, to push ourselves and follow through so that we can be our best self and get ahead to feel great. So whatever your goals for 2021, find what you're looking for at theleadertree.com, where leadership grows. So check us out Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern at tw3radio.com and theleadertree.com. Because strong roots build stronger skills.
You're listening to TerryWilson3.com. Inspiring, informative, and entertaining content for the entrepreneur and small business owner.
And now back to our show with Terry Wilson.
You're not going to believe me, but I was just about to compliment you on like, hey, smooth run, no button issues, and then it became my speech all over again. We're back. Laurie's got a great training for us, and personally, I'm really excited to get into it. So let's do it.
Hey, you know what? You don't have to be crazy to talk to yourself. You know, we all talk to ourselves all the time, usually without realizing it. And most of what we tell ourselves is negative, counterproductive, and damaging, preventing us from enjoying a fulfilled and successful life. In the book by Shad Helmstetter, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, the author shares simple but profound techniques based on an understanding of the processes of the human brain. And by learning how to talk to yourself in new ways, you will notice a dramatic improvement in all areas of your life and program your potential for success. Have you ever wondered why there are so many quote unquote keys to success and why they aren't working? Why are there shelves full of self-help bestsellers, and why do we keep needing new ones? Why have so many people failed at making these great ideas work? Or if they work for a time, what makes them stop working? Have you ever attended a pep rally or a motivational meeting? Why didn't it last? Have you ever been inspired to change, to achieve, and then stopped? Where did the inspiration go? The problem is not with the motivational talks or self-help ideas that are good. They should work, they could work, but they don't work or they don't keep working because that's not how our brain works. You know, the human brain is like a personal computer control center that each of us has and is capable of doing any reasonable thing that you'd like for it to do. If you give it the right directions, it will work for you in the right way. But if you give your mental computer the wrong directions, it will act on those wrong directions. It will continue to respond to the negative programming that you and the rest of the world have been giving it without even being aware of it. From the time we were kids, this negative programming we all received and still receive has come to us really quite unintentionally. It has come from our parents who wanted to protect us, from our teachers, our associates at work, our life mates, advertising of all kinds, and the news media. And we took it all to heart. Year after year, word by word, layer by layer, our self-images were created. In time, we ourselves joined right in, and we began to believe what we were being told by others, and what we were telling ourselves was true. We began hearing the same words and thoughts over and over, hundreds or even thousands of times, what we could or could not accomplish. You know, words are powerful. After all, how did God create the universe? He spoke. Repetition is a convincing argument. Eventually, we believed what others told us and what we told ourselves. We began to live out the picture of ourselves we had created in our minds. Now, unless the programming we received is erased or replaced with different programming, it will stay with us permanently and affect and direct everything we do for the rest of our lives. You know, the good book says, as a man thinks, so he is. Now, how can we possibly be what we think? But you know what? Modern day research has actually proven that to be scientifically correct. you will become what you think about most. Your success or failure in anything, large or small, will depend on your programming, what you accept from others, and what you say when you talk to yourself. Neither luck nor desire has anything at all to do with it. It makes no difference whether we believe it or not. The brain simply believes what you tell it most. And what you tell it about you, it will create. It has no choice. Now, what if we could actually learn how to change or override our old programming and replace it with a specific word for word new program? And what if we could do it in such a way that we could affect and improve our attitudes and our behavior really fast? Not through years of difficult study or training, but easily and simply anytime we choose to. That's exactly what the brain will do. An understanding of our own personal computer, the human brain, is what has been missing from most of the books and most of our motivational talks. An understanding of that one simple requirement of our mental machinery can help make us a simple but vital change in how we accept programming from others, and more importantly, what we say when we talk to ourselves. Think for a moment about some of the things you'd like to accomplish or achieve in your life, or even smaller things that you'd like to change about your life right now. It could be to earn more income, have a better family life, improve your skills, anything at all. Now, whatever means you choose to make the change, unless you first begin to change your old programming, the years of conditioning that keep you doing it the old way, the likely outcome is that what you want to accomplish will not work or it won't last. Now, what if you're boarding a plane and you hear the navigator tell the captain that the onboard computer, the one that flies the plane, is programmed wrong? It has been programmed so that 75% of the directions that control the plane are the wrong directions. Well, what would you do next? Get off the plane? That's exactly the kind of programming most of us have. No wonder things don't work. No wonder we dream, hope, try, struggle, get by, fall short, or fail. We have a bad program. We have been trying to achieve our goals with our own onboard computer pre-programmed to hold us back. Now, you can reprogram. You can erase the old, negative, counterproductive programming and replace it with a healthy, new, positive, productive kind of programming. And it's easy. Erase and replace. All you have to do is learn how to talk to yourself. If everything you tell yourself about yourself becomes a directive to your subconscious mind, then anytime you make a statement about yourself that's negative, you are directing your subconscious mind to make you become the person you just described negatively. Do you know anyone who frequently expresses negative self-talk? Or have you ever said anything like, "It's just no use. Nothing ever goes right for me. Today just isn't my day. When will I ever learn? Things just aren't working out for me." The human brain will do anything possible you tell it to do if you tell it often enough and strongly enough. If you tell it the wrong thing about yourself, that's what it will accept and act upon. Our internal programming treats anything we tell it with equal indifference. A typical example of this is our own self-accepted beliefs about our personal financial capabilities or limitations. Unless we change the program we gave ourselves, the one that told us we can't seem to earn enough money to get by, our subconscious will successfully accomplish its programmed task of keeping us earning less than we would like. Had we given it the right program, that same subconscious mind, instead of us keeping poor or of average means, would just as gladly have made us wealthy. Now, if God can say this to you, then is there any reason you can't say it to yourself? In the self-management sequence, there are 5 steps that control our success or failure, and it all starts with our programming. What we have accepted from the outside world or fed to ourselves has initiated a natural cause and effect chain reaction sequence, which cannot fail to lead us to successful self-management or to the unsuccessful mismanagement of ourselves, our resources, and our futures. It's our programming that sets up our beliefs, and the chain reaction begins. What we believe determines our attitudes, affects our feelings, directs our behavior, and determines our success or failure. That's how the brain works. If you want to manage yourself in a better way and change your results, you can do so anytime you choose. Start with the first step, change your programming. So, what is self-talk and how does it work? Self-talk is a way to override our past negative programming by erasing or replacing it with conscious, positive new directions. Self-talk is a practical way to live our lives by active intent rather than by passive acceptance. With self-talk, we have a way to give new directions to our subconscious minds by talking to ourselves in a different way, consciously reprogramming our internal control centers with words and statements which are more effective, more helpful to every part of us that we would like to improve. The self-talk statements paint a new internal picture of ourselves as we would most like to be. Self-talk gives each of us a way to change what we would like to change, even if we haven't been able to do so in the past. It offers us the chance to stop being the old self and to start becoming a different, better self, a self which is no longer the product of conditioned response, but governed instead by personal choice. Now, there are several kinds of self-talk. Each of us, each day, may use any of the 5 different levels of self-talk. Each level is specific and distinct from the others. Some of the levels work for us and some work against us. The more you know about each of them, the faster and more easily you will be able to master using the right kind of self-talk for yourself. The 5 levels of self-talk start at the lowest, least beneficial level. At the bottom of the list, and the most harmful self-talk we can use, is level 1, the level of negative acceptance. That is self-talk by which you say something bad or negative about yourself, and then you accept it. Now, earlier we saw several dozen commonly used self-talk statements and phrases. All of them were level 1 self-talk. This level is real easy to spot. It's most characterized by the words, I can't, or if only I could, or I wish I could, but I can't. All level 1 self-talk works against us. And unfortunately, it's the most frequently used self-talk of all. They are typical of the kinds of doubts, fears, misgivings, and hesitations we program ourselves with. It makes no difference how harmless the words seem at the time. They are the backbone of everything which works against us and stands in our way. Rid yourself of the negative I can'ts, and you will have rid yourself of your greatest foe. Level 2 self-talk is the level of recognition and the need to change. This level is very beguiling. On the surface, it looks as though it should work for us, but instead it works against us. In this level of self-talk, we are stating to ourselves and to others our recognition of our need to change. Level 2 self-talk is characterized by words such as, I need to, or I ought to, or I should. Well, why does that work against us? Because it recognizes a problem, but creates no solution. When you say to yourself or to someone else, I really need to get more organized, what you're really saying is, I really need to get more organized, but I'm not. When you complete the sentence, it is always unconsciously ended with an unspoken, but still programmed level 1 statement of negative self-talk. Now, anytime you hear yourself telling yourself any level 2 self-talk, stop for a moment and complete the sentence. Finish out loud the program you are actually directing to your subconscious mind. Your self-talk becomes, I'd really like to earn more income, but I'm not. I wish I could, but I can't. I know I need to take care of that, but I'm not taking care of it. I'd like things to work out better, but they won't. These are the directives we unwittingly give to ourselves. They are seemingly innocent, but exceptionally effective programs we feed to the most powerful control center known to man. Instead of giving birth to dreams and accomplishment, level 2 self-talk creates guilt, disappointment, and an acceptance of our own self-imagined inadequacies. Is that good programming? Will it help us succeed? Well, that's a nope. Level 3 self-talk is the first level of self-talk that works for you instead of against you. In this level, you recognize the need to change, but you also make the decision in the present tense as though the change has already taken place. Level 3 is characterized by the words, I never, or I no longer. In this level, you say, I no longer have a problem dealing with people at work, and I never eat more than I should. I never get upset in traffic. I no longer put off doing anything I want to get done. When you move to level 3, you are automatically beginning to rephrase old negative cannots, putting them behind you, and stating them in a positive new way that tells your subconscious mind to wake up, get moving, and make the change. When you begin to practice self-talk for yourself, you will find that you will need to use level 3 self-talk only for those occasions when you are working at affecting a specific change. It doesn't make any difference if you're still doing that thing you want to change. Remember, the self-conscious mind will believe anything you tell it. If you tell it long enough and strong enough, it will simply go to work to carry out its new directives. Your subconscious mind will receive the new direction, create a new picture of you in your control center, and convince you to make the change. That's exactly what you told your subconscious mind. That's exactly what it will do. When the new programming takes over, it won't be the result of magic, hypnosis, meditation, or even luck. That's just the way the mind works. It works because you tell it what to do. Learn to tell it in the right way, and it will do it. Now, level 4 self-talk is the most effective kind of self-talk we can ever use. In our self-talk vocabularies, level 4 is the kind of self-talk that has been used the least and is needed the most. It is at this level that you are painting a completely new picture of yourself the way you really want to be, handing it to your subconscious and saying, this is the me I want you to create. Forget all that bad programming I gave you in the past. This is your new program. Now let's get to work at it. Level 4 self-talk is characterized by the words I am, like I am organized and in control of my life. I am a winner. I am healthy, energetic, enthusiastic, and I'm going for it. Nothing can stop me now. I like who I am. I'm in tune, on top, and in touch. I have determination, drive, and self-belief. I am living the life I choose, and I choose what's right. Instead of struggling with the past level 1 self-talk, the level 4 self-talker deals with problems and opportunities in a whole new, productive, self-activating way. The past procrastinator who has been programmed to put things off now says, I do everything I need to do when I need to do it. I enjoy getting things done on time and in just the right way. The past problem is turned around to begin creating ongoing daily success. Level 4 self-talk is the positive self-talk that is the opposite of level 1. It replaces helpless cannots with vibrant yes, I cans. Level 4 self-talk inspires, encourages, urges, and implores. It excites, demands, and pushes us forward. It strengthens our armor of our spirit and hardens the steel of our determination. This is a self-talk that challenges us to do battle with our fears and end up the victory. It is the self-talk which stirs us to action, fills us with self-belief, and plants our feet firmly on the solid bedrock of success. State the problem, and you can find the self-talk that created it. But for every word of negative self-talk that has ever been added, there is the right kind of self-talk to counter, reprogram, fix the problem, and make it right. There are hundreds of examples already written of the special, powerful reprogramming level self-talk. I am a winner. I believe in myself. I respect myself, and I like who I am. I have made the decision to win in my life, and that's what I'm doing. Can you imagine going through the rest of your life with that kind of self-talk on your side? Think of the programming that kind of direction would create. It's yours for the taking. It's yours the moment you decide to choose a better way. You deserve the best out of life. Perhaps it's time to do something about it. Now, level 5, the level 5 of self-talk is the level of universal affirmation. This level of self-talk has been spoken for thousands of years. It's as old as the ancient religions which inspired it. It is the self-talk of oneness with God. This is the self-talk for seekers still living among mankind, but anxious to find a greater reward. Level 5 self-talk is characterized by the words, it is. I am one with the universe and it is one with me. I am of it, within it, and exist on a rock of divine goodness. Now, it's still important that we take care today of the things that are required today. So I urge you to begin to use the self-talk of level 3 and level 4. And if it's right, level 5 will come in due time. For now, learn the self-talk that will get you to work on time, help you fix your family ties, give yourself the self-image you deserve, and get the basic things in this life in order. Now, there are 2 levels of self-talk, which you need to learn first, and 2 others you should unlearn fast. Starting right now, the moment you recognize why the self-talk you've used at levels 1 and 2 hasn't worked, stop using it. There's no reason to use it any longer. Replace those 2 negative kinds of self-talk with the self-talk of levels 3 and 4. For now, just listen to anything you may be saying to yourself that could be working against you. Turn it around and start using the self-talk that works for you. You know, our earning potential is individually determined by each of us. The limits of our income are set by our own internal beliefs. If you want to earn more, you have to start by seeing yourself as worthy, deserving, capable, and willing, and by redirecting yourself to do so. Too many of us, when we want to increase our earnings, make the mistake of tackling the problem from the wrong end. We try to figure out how we can earn more money before we believe we are capable of doing so. Talk to yourself about your self-worth. When you start to create a new picture of yourself being worth more, Your subconscious mind will help you find a way to go about earning. Now, I don't want to oversimplify the task of making a significant increase in your financial worth, but I have learned that doing so is far more dependent upon attitudes, beliefs, and determination than on the position you are presently in today. If you are serious about wanting to increase your income, begin by giving yourself 3 weeks of self-talk for self-worth and financial worth. Then set your goals and write your plan. When you determine who you really are inside and what you really are capable of accomplishing, it is much easier to see what to do next. Start with your programming, the rest will follow. Now, friends, I've only just scratched the surface of this topic, so I urge you to get and read this book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. Amazon can get it to you tomorrow, or go to terrywilson3.com/free book. Talk to yourself, learn the words, the right words, and use them. Make your self-talk an everyday, unconscious, self-directing habit. Talk to yourself in a way that is kind, loving, caring, strong, demanding, and determined. And by the way, do the same for your kids, your spouse, your friends, and even your foes. Talk to yourself in the right way every day. When you do, you will give yourself the greatest gift you will ever give. Thanks for listening, friends.
And now back to our show with Terry Wilson.
That was a great training by Laurie. And now let's get into that training with Terry on 12 statements you can use to close more deals.
So tonight I want to talk to you about how to close more sales. Here are 12 closing statements that you can use right now to get the ball moving and get sales closing. So what does it mean to close more, really? Well, always be closing does not always mean that you're closing the deal right then and there. There are products at times where it's appropriate to ask for the sale right then and there, but higher ticket items and coaching products and other types of products, sometimes it would be ridiculous to try to expect to close, a $10,000 ticket sale right then and there on the first meeting. So what does it mean to always be closing? It means to be closing to the next step in the sales process, which, by the way, is also a little ambiguous at that statement as well. So how do you close to the next process? You have to map out the sales process. First off, sales reps often do not have a clear understanding of what the sales process is and how you get someone to the point of saying yes to having a signed order in your hand. The first step is clearly mapping out and understanding what that sales process will look like. So just a couple things, to think in mind. Maybe the first one is just having that initial meeting, booking that appointment. A potential second meeting if prospect not fully galvanized. Outcome commitment to formally evaluate and bring in additional stakeholders. A technical review, functional review, business review, outcome decision to purchase, contract review, security review, and outcome to sign order. Those are just some of the processes, if you're selling enterprise software, for instance, that you'd probably have to have in your process. Now, not all products, goods, and services are going to have that many steps or layers, but know your business, know your industry, and try to figure out, okay, what are the steps that I would, as a person of professional and high caliber, feel like I need to put in the process so that I'm doing due diligence by my client and they're getting all the information in a timely fashion and we're moving toward a definitive yes or no. So let me give you 12 closing statements that you can do right now that will get the ball moving toward a closed deal where you've got a check in hand and they've got a product or good or service in functioning in their business. So number one, I love this one. And it basically says this: if I blank, will you do blank today? If we give you this product at this price, is there a reason that you would push away from working with us today? This is one of the sales closing questions that employs a sort of a reverse close technique. It's a reverse in the essence that when a prospect responds by saying no, they indirectly say yes to doing business. And I like this because people are so negative, and no just falls out of our mouths so easy. I always like putting no in an affirmative way when I'm asking an affirmative question. If I can do this, will you be able to do this today? Do you feel like there's any reason why you couldn't? No, let's go. That's why I like positioning it that way. The closure sales technique here is a hook to prospect until they have no reason to pull out from a deal. So I like that one a lot. Number 2, this is blank, so let's blank, right? So in other words, this is a more profitable approach that fits your budget, right? If yes, I'm more than glad to make you some follow-up plans so we can figure out what the next step is. If this is profitable for you, so let's decide on meeting Tuesday to go ahead and finalize the paperwork, right? So I'm always, yin yang, yes, no. In other words, if this is this, was this is that, right? And so just trying to frame it in a way that they can clearly let me know where their mindset is at. I love that one. Number 3, if you, then I will. If you make your purchase by the end of the day, I will do the following. So it's sort of a stipulational clause in that. If you will do this, I can do this. And there's always a rational reason. In my business, I'm dealing with websites and technical stuff, and it sometimes takes developers and programmers and coders and design artists and graphic people and all this other stuff that work in the back for me. Sometimes I have an opening window here that I can get them on a project, maybe a little cheaper because I can stack it with others. So there's always a time-sensitive reason. If I can stack my workload that way, I can tell someone, hey, if you'll do this by the end of the day, I've got so-and-so's already working on this project. I can have them knock out yours. Wouldn't cost me any extra because I already got them on the clock, and I'll throw this in. Now, that's a real rational and practical reason why I can say, if you will do this, I will do this. And so that's a great closing way of maybe closing a sale. Hey, if you will book your appointment today, I will be able to do this, this, and this because I've got Thursday, Friday, and Saturday open. So I like using that one. Number 4, I'm looking forward to blank. I'm looking forward to working with you. I'm looking forward to helping you on this project. I'm looking forward to talking to you further on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to meeting your boss. I'm looking forward to speaking with your employees. I'm looking forward to booking this speaking arrangement. I'm looking forward. I love that. And this sales closing statement shows that you're anticipating a healthy business relationship. You're setting the stage that there is a future for us to do business. The sales closing phrase works better if you're closing a service deal. And I love that one in my service deals. Number 5, what are your thoughts on blank? What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on the current pricing? What are your thoughts on, the way this works? What are your thoughts on this technique? What are your thoughts on this type of service? What are your thoughts? Sometimes us as salespeople, we're so quick to talk. We're sometimes very too slow to ask questions. Get your clients talking. Let them reveal what's inside of them. Let them air out those objections and attitudes and biases and whatever's on the inside of them. Because then, and only then, as you as the professional salesperson will know how to frame and position your value. So I love that. What are your thoughts on blank? Number 6, what interests you about blank? Another great question to get them to open up and answer questions. What are your thoughts on working from home? What are your thoughts on entrepreneurialism? What are your thoughts on working from a laptop at a Starbucks only 2 hours a day? What are your thoughts on being able to work anywhere in the world, anytime you want, work with who you want, however much you want, and earn as much as you want? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about? What are your thoughts about self-employment? What are your thoughts about this health food service? What are your thoughts? With sales closing questions like this one, you stimulate the opening of a discussion. The closing sales tip here lets you include digging for more information and analyzing the information you get from your prospective client. I love that one. Number 7, as you've seen, this blanks. As you've seen, this product offers you an incredible way of generating unlimited leads for just pennies on the dollar. How does that sound to you?
So I love number 7. As you've seen, in other words, I'm letting the client know, if you didn't recognize this benefit, I'm bringing it back to your attention. Because sometimes we, in the sales process and in the presentation, we're going over so much information, so much data, that maybe one of the major benefits that will help their business, they might have missed. So I can, with a confirmational way, saying and confirming and validating that they've been paying attention. Hey, as you've seen, this right here will generate leads with a push of a button, so you never have to buy leads again. And your lead generation cost literally can be under $1 per qualified lead. Oh, right. I was so busy paying attention to the technical part over here that I wasn't. So as you've seen, this number 7, number 8. This blank seems. Our product seems to fit your needs. Our service seems to work better for you than what you're currently using. This type of business seems. In other words, the word seems takes it out of me saying this or so-and-so saying this to it's just apparent. It's obvious. It stands to reason. It's already substantiated. This blank seems to do this, and this for you. This seems to fit you. This seems to work better for you. This seems. This blank seems. I love that one. Number 9, why don't you? Why don't you give our product a try? Why don't you go ahead and let's button this up today? Why don't you go ahead and blank? Whenever you're dealing with a prospect who is afraid of making commitments, frame your closing question in a way that downplays risks involved in buying the product. Use sales closing statements to trigger the prospects to try out the solution you are offering. It will always seem to do better when you can couch it in terms, why don't you? I'm not telling them to do something. I'm employing them in the word, why don't you give our product a try? Why don't you go ahead and let's book this? Because it may or may not work, but there's no sense in assuming anything. Why don't you? Number 10, if you sign now, you will blank now. One of my favorite questions to answer is, how quickly can I start earning? And I say, well, how quickly can you get started? If you start today, you start earning today. If you sign today, you start being able to generate unlimited leads at a fraction of the price that you're paying now. If you start taking my product today, you start losing weight today. If you start doing this today, you start filling the blank of the benefit of the product, good, and service you offer today. If you do this now, you get this now. So I love that because it speaks to any client that has a sense of urgency. Well, the urgency is on their impetus to do something. Number 11, what do you say we sign up right now? Sometimes just being very direct, not trying to be fancy with words, not trying to beat around the bush, not trying to get too sophisticated. Just get right to it. Why don't we go ahead and get started today? Why don't you go ahead and just sign up right now? What do you say we just do this? What do you say we do this? What do you say we get signed up right now? Sales closing question like this one helps you hasten the process of closing a deal in a natural flow. The prospect will not feel pressured because you're saying it in a cadence, in a way that's very folksy, and it's very easygoing, and it's very combative. It's just, what do you say we go ahead and do this? Why don't you say we just go ahead and ink this deal? Why do you say we go ahead and get you in a position where you can start earning, enjoying, and experiencing more than you ever did before in your life, starting right now? What do you say? What do you say what? What do you say we? I'm in this with you. I love that. What do you say we? Because I'm in here with you. Number 12, and finally, if there is no more concerns, are we ready to get started? If there's no more blank, or if there's no more objections, if there are no more questions, if there are no more whatever the hold up, whatever you've been working through this process, if there's no more to look at, and you've studied this and you understand this and we've done this, if there's no more, why don't we go ahead? Are we ready? So I love that. It's just flushing out. Is there any more reasoning, rationale? Then let's get started today. If you will start using those 12 closing statements in the process, in that sales process, you'll start taking them from a cold lead to a warm prospect to a nurtured client and happy client moving forward. Those are the 12 closing statements I think you could use today and really start seeing an effect in your business today.
You're listening to TerryWilson3.com. Inspiring, informative, and entertaining content for the entrepreneur and small business owner.
And now back to our show with Terry Wilson.
I tell you what, one day I'm going to learn how to do all this.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Let's keep our expectations realistic here.
Misspelling bee, if people could be a fly on the wall when we do this, it'd be like, oh my gosh, literally anybody could do this.
It takes away some of the magic, though, you know.
Yeah, when you see how the sausage is made, sometimes it's just like,
good.
There's a reason why this is so salty.
Do you have Laurie's mic turned up?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's just sitting there shaking her head going, I can't believe these fools are just...
Yeah, no, you leave me speechless as well. I just wanted to make sure we...
She's still going, I can't believe they get paid to do this. It's just amazing to me. God is good. All right, well, let's get into some of our questions. Reagan, what have we got?
Okay, so the first question, it's an email question. What's the hardest part about the TW3 business?
The hardest part? What do you think, Laurie? What's the hardest part about the TW3 business, in your opinion?
I think the hardest part is making a decision to take an action and just do it.
Yeah, just staying motivated.
Once you have decided to be active in it, and you don't let go of that, you just, you know, that's all about having a decided heart. Make a decision and go with it and persist with it.
Persistence. I think that's universal, not even our business, but, you know, because, I mean, I don't want to paint no rosy picture that there's, you know, once you get our peel through lotion or potion, all of your woes go away.
Right.
You know, it's all we've given you is tools and training to use. You're still, whatever you came in with, whatever challenges you started with, they're still there.
Yep.
It's just we've got some tools and some training, and hopefully, if you're an elite member, some motivation and inspiration and a community to come alongside you and encourage you. But at the end of the day, what you came in with, you still got.
Yeah.
And so if you, and I get this question a lot, Terry, this is a business show. Why do you guys spend so much time on mindset? And it's just like what Laurie's talking about tonight. It wasn't exclusively or explicitly business. It was more mindset. Well, the reason is because until you think right, you don't do right. If you don't do right, you don't earn right.
Yeah.
It's all connected. And so many times people want to jump steps 1 and 2, which is, I don't have to worry about the way I think. And if you don't have to worry about the way you think, that means you don't have to worry about the way you act. I just want to be able to have this. Well, it just don't work that way.
Which, to give a real example as well, like what's the hardest part for you might not be the hardest part for somebody else.
Oh, that's true.
If you come on as a sales rep and you're somebody that's had a ton of experience in sales, it's probably not going to be that
the sales part, the talking to customers, not the thing, the difficult.
If you're leaving a job, you know, just a normal stand-up cashier job, I guess, and then you go into selling, you've never done it before, there's probably going to be some challenges, and that's okay.
Sure.
But just be aware of it. Or if you're somebody that's not good with technology and you come on solely using our tools to generate leads for your business, well, there's a lot of like tech pieces that go into that. There's a lot of, you know, software there. So
yeah, it really does. It depends on the person. You're right, Reagan. I mean, it really does. I mean, I think the thing that Laurie's bringing up that is universal. I think we all need to learn to stick to something. You know, just stick to it and don't get discouraged. Don't quit when things get hard. That's universal. But you're right. Then, but what are those triggers? And sometimes it's talking to someone who maybe you're you don't feel that confidence that maybe you need to have. Sometimes it's just because you're scared that, oh, this person's going to judge me. What are they going to think when I talk to them? That's that internal dialogue stuff. What she's talking about tonight, that you just got to sort of push past so that you can talk, because that's part of business, is putting your value out there and getting in front of people and letting them know, hey, I've got something to offer the world.
Yep.
And you're
and
right.
You know what, Terry? Here's the thing. Any skill can be learned, developed.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the right mindset, it doesn't matter
That's right.
what you're able to learn or what you're not able to learn. If you don't have the right mindset, that comes first. Any other tool or technology or sales skills, all that can be learned and developed over time.
That's right. I love it. Yeah. You have to build the character. It's really, at the end of the day, there's no one that can give you character.
Yeah.
That's you and God alone in a gym, pushing through that pain, pushing through disappointment, forgiving when you don't want to forgive, thinking better about yourself when all these thoughts are coming in saying, no, you shouldn't think. That's that time in the gym. So that when you get outside of yourself and you meet a Laurie Brown or you meet a Terry Wilson or a Reagan or whoever, and they hand you this tool, all of a sudden you're in a mental place that you can actually use that tool. And it actually is a benefit to you rather than just one more excuse you're going to give yourself. Well, I tried that too and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to happen if the head's not right. Yeah.
There's a great quote by Kobe that I saw yesterday, which fits right with what you're saying. Somebody asked him why he doesn't pass the ball. It was one of his years when he was with some rookies, some newer guys that weren't really working out quite as much. And obviously he said this differently, but for podcast sake, I'm going to clean it up.
You're going to clean it up.
He basically said, well, they're not working as hard. They haven't earned it. And so he's saying, like, they come 10 minutes before practice starts and they leave as soon as it's done. I'm here from 4 a.m. till practice starts, and then I'm here 2 hours after getting my shots up. And so he's in the gym working. He earns those shots. It's
put your time in.
Yeah, put your time in.
Put your time in. You earn the right to hold that rock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Second question here. Is this a business that I can do long term? The reason I ask is it's technology based, and I'm scared that if as something in technology changes, this business may no longer be around.
Great question. You want to take that first?
Yeah, I can take that. I think we do a really good job of updating with what the technology is doing. So for an example, when we started 10 or 12 years ago, you could use the bulk dialer. You called an elderly market in Florida, let's say, and you were in insurance. You could leave a really simple message that said something like, hey, my name's Reagan. I could probably lower your insurance premiums. Just give me a call back at this number. 10 years ago, if you called 1,000 people, what was that, like a 30%, 40% return rate? It was really good.
It's huge.
But that being said, technology's changed. There's more laws in place. And that's not to say that's bad either, because bad robo-dialing is annoying to everyone, even with people that have it. So we've updated our training and grabbed more tools for our software to sort of mitigate that. So now text marketing is pretty effective. We show you how to use opt-in forms, how to get ads out there that, drive traffic that you want. So I don't think we've stagnated at any point. No. We're always looking.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to the chagrin of a lot of our members sometimes, because it does get frustrating.
Sure.
On their end, I understand because, oh, God, here comes Terry with another software piece he's just implemented. But the thing is, we sort of have to because technology changes. And what you were talking about there wasn't necessarily a technology change. It was more a market changed and law changed.
Sure.
The market changed. And so because dialing technology is still there. It's just, number one, it's
much more regulated.
It's much more regulated. So the ability to use has narrowed. But quite frankly, everybody and their brother has used it. So the effectiveness of it, has depleted.
Pot of gold's run out a little bit.
Yeah, it's ran its course a bit. But there are some niche markets and some ways of using it that's still effective, but it's not the go-to tool. And then you talk to Pat Flynn and you talk to some other online marketers and they'll talk about blogging. I'm still a huge proponent of blogging, but even blogging has its place and doesn't. So what we've tried to do is we don't put all of our eggs in one technological basket and say, hey, this is the be all end all. We have a suite of solutions, and as new things change, we change with it. One of the biggest mistakes I hear a lot of I call them faux gurus because I just don't think it's good advice, is telling everybody, well, you don't need a website anymore. You don't need landing pages. All you need is a Facebook account. And good luck to you, because they can change on you on a dime, and that's rented space. You don't own that space, and maybe you're selling something that the power brokers that be like, and maybe you're not. So you just have got to be leery of that. And I'm not picking on Facebook. I say that. And I'm a huge proponent of LinkedIn, but that's LinkedIn. That's any of them. That's all rented space. Use it while you can. But that's why I'm still a huge advocate of having your own website, your own blog, your own podcast, your own everything.
Which it seems like most of the advice from successful online presences will tell you. They sponsor typically with Squarespace or something like that, but they'll tell you, You need your own website. Like,
gotta
have your own space.
Have your own sandbox. Isn't that right, Laurie?
You got it.
Laurie said, amen.
Ditto.
Ditto. Mega dittos.
Third question here. What kind of support do I get at each level of membership?
Oh, that's great. Laurie, you want to handle that one? What kind of support do they get as a member joining it at the different levels?
Well, everyone is going to have their own sales rep and trainer, right? They're a coach, and it doesn't matter what level you're at. You're going to have a coach who's going to be able to help you more on a one-on-one basis. There's tons and tons and tons, literally hours of training that is archived that you can access. I would encourage anyone to attend all of the meetings, the Monday night podcast, and then if you're an elite member, we also have a Wednesday night mastermind group where we actually get to speak directly with Terry as well as other like-minded elite members. So there's, you know, through the gamut, there's plenty of support there. The sales rep and trainer level is really for someone who, I mean, it's a business in a box. You want an internet business, you got an internet business and a product to sell, which is the software. And then at the plus level, you're going to be able to do a little RMP, that's referral marketing partners, and have some advanced training on some of the engagement tools like the bulk text, bulk dialer, and things like that. And then with Elite, you get the whole 9 yards. You get everything.
Yeah, that's true. And I would say that the support and the way we come alongside you here is probably the thing I'm the most proudest of, because wherever you're at, we should be able to touch, because there's some people that need that dialogue. That's why we've structured our business to where we allow trainers to have the lion's share of the profits so that they have the time and wherewithal to spend that time. And that's why we give elite trainers even that residual part to keep building that book of business. And then it's on-demand video training. And then, like she said, the mastermind, I'm telling you, I think it's worth the elite package just for that mastermind meeting. And it's not because I'm there. It's because there's a ton of other great people there. And you just get this sense of community. And we all sort of source this out. If someone has a question, it gives everybody opportunity to speak into it and say, well, this is what I've done. This is what I've done. This is what works for me. So it's sort of like having little miniature conferences throughout the week until you get to the big conference a year. So I agree.
And you know what? The other thing about the mastermind, and it is worth the price of the elite, is because, you know, it says in the Bible that iron sharpens iron. And so, you know, you're in this group of really strong, motivated people like yourself. And it's really important to sort of make those connections with other people, especially in this Zoom world that we live in. Because, you know, if you're sitting at home all by yourself, that little voice in your head will talk to you. You may even say it out loud. And you start believing those things. You come to a group where you know your iron is being sharpened with others, and that's really going to feed into your spirit, man, if you will. Yeah. That you're going to kind of catch it from other people, that positivity and good attitude or ideas, or they may have a question you hadn't thought to ask, but then it's like, oh, that's a really good question, you know, what have you. So
yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah,
and we get to like tell jokes and stuff.
And we can cut up a little bit. No, yeah. It's like a big family. It really is. And everybody brings their personality and we just sort of cut up. And Laurie, you're right. It's like an accountability partner too. And as much as the members, like it because they come and it's sort of their weekly accountability. This is what I'm doing. This is my win of the week. You know, we go through that and all those things. Hey, I'm the guy organizing. It's my accountability partner. So, because I tell myself, I can't afford to get into mully grubs. I can't afford to just, you know, woe is me, nobody cares, you know, because I've got to be there on point, ready to rock and roll. So it's my accountability partner. I get just as much out of it as anyone else does. So good stuff. Well, guys, I want to go ahead.
Sorry about that. That's my dog.
Oh, well, there's another story for another time. I won't even go there, but I hope
we won't go there.
I hope he's gotten out of the painting business.
No, he's lots better now. Come here, Bubba.
I won't tell y'all the health condition her dog had, but let me just say it was fodder for a lot of one-liners and jokes there for a while. Because I
don't even know if I want to know now.
Yeah, this is.
You don't want to know.
You don't want to know. It was a messy situation. That's all I'll say.
Also, real quick, just going to plug ticket support. That's there too.
Ticket? Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, Reagan. We forgot about that, but you do have.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, at the end of the day, with the videos and the trainer and the mastermind group, Reagan wanted to make sure we understood. And there's ticket support back there as well. So you got that to help you find the video or answer a quick question and all that as well. Well, guys, I wanted to remind you that we do have that deal. If you've thought about doing something, we've got some time that our developers have set aside. I've sketched out some times, and hey, I want you guys to be ready to be able to do this, and this for me. So call your prospective clients, let them know if they're on the fence thinking about doing something. Now's the time, because we want to get that and help some of our new people, you know, sort of get their business pronged up. What am I saying? Provoked, compelled. What's the word? What about?
Don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. But you know, help
just
the.
Let him keep going. It's funny.
Just keep going. Just keep shaking your head. Maybe he'll get. But we're just trying to help the new members get their business. Throw some gasoline on it as well, because we know we've had so many people that's joined over the last few weeks, trying to help them really get started and ramped up in a quick clip. So that's till Wednesday at 5 p.m. Anybody that joins is going to get their blog set up. They're going to get their funnel set up. They're going to get their CRM set up. They're going to get all that. And the first person that takes advantage of this is also going to get free tickets to the You Are Worth More conference here in Greenville, South Carolina on September the 7th through the 9th. So you will want to jump on that and take advantage now. Until next time, we will talk to you later.
Thank you for listening to our show today at TerryWilson3.com.
Get a free sample copy of the book You Are Worth More by going to TerryWilson3.com now.
If you would like more information on how we can take your money, your business, and your life to the next level, then please visit us online at TerryWilson3.com.